2.3.0 Licensing and Certification. So, as HVAC technicians, we work on systems that affect the health and well-being of people, as well as their safety, propane, natural gas, and oil. So it is important that there there is some licensing and certification that happens. Now, 37 of the 50 states require some type of licensure to to do this, but it's not always pointed at HVAC technicians. It's usually the licensure is focused on the contractor. So, and what's really scary is the other, however many that is, 13 U.S. states don't require any type of licensure to service and install air conditioning systems. So each licensing entity is different. Each state is different, the requirements that they have. I know in Florida there is type A, B, and C contracting licenses for air conditioning, which are different size systems and the type of work that you do. I know that in Montana there is no requirement to have any type of licensure to be install air conditioning or work on air conditioning systems. So it really depends on your state, and I know that in different counties and areas of states have different requirements as well. So you really need to check with your local licensing officials to make sure that you're legal. And some states do offer journeyman level credentials. Again, you need to check with the state. Here in Florida, to work on any government building, you need to have at least one journeyman certified technician by the state of Florida working on the project. So it just depends on your state as well. But the one thing that everybody has to have is their EPA certification, because refrigerants have a huge impact on the environment. And table 1 from our book, it shows the ozone depletion potential for some refrigerants. Here's R22 right here, and it gives global warming potentials as well, and then how long it stays in the atmosphere. And there is environmental impact data on all of the refrigerants that we use. So part of our job as an HVAC technician is to handle refrigerants, and the federal government established the Clean Air Act to phase out refrigerants and to control their usage, transportation, storage, and so forth. Now, if you are taking this course, the HVAC levels 1, 2, 3, and 4 course, you will be or already have your EPA certification. This is just a review overview of that. If you're doing the online course here, there is the EPA certification practice test where you can study and practice to get your EPA certification. So the Clean Air Act established that to vent or release refrigerants to the atmosphere is illegal, and that you need to have the EPA certification license to handle refrigerants in any way. And you need to keep records of everything that you do, charging, recovery, and so forth, with customer name, date, ounces and pounds of refrigerant as well. And that the refrigerants need to be recovered, recycled, and reclaimed. These are really important terms for you to understand when you take your EPA exam, and also when you're talking to your dispatch about what you have done with your refrigerant, or writing it on your invoices as well. So reclaimed, the term reclaimed means that this is used refrigerant. This is something that has been taken out of a system, and there are centers, and usually it's your supply house, that will collect this refrigerant that you've pulled out of an old system, and they will ship it off to a facility that will filter and test and remove contaminants and reprocess that refrigerant for use again. So that's reclaimed refrigerant. Recycled, now that's what I just talked about. That's where they take the refrigerant out of this old system and put it through filtering and such, and then it's certified as being reclaimed refrigerant, but it goes through a recycling process. And then recovered, that's what we do. This is the setup over here where you recover refrigerant from a system. You store it in a temporary container that is approved for that, and then you record that in your refrigerant records, take it to the supply house, they send it off to the recycling place, they process it into reclaimed refrigerant that which can be used again, and that's a method of conserving our and preserving our environment and conserving refrigerant.